I ain't never shot a gun in a nigga. And I done gangbang. We get him up. We get him up. I done said what I said. I don't want to understand.
I purposely stood across from him so it's something in between us because I know myself. So I was like, if I ask this old man a question, then he get crazy. I'm about to beat these niggas up in here.
What's good, Rizzle Fam? Looks like Charleston White's controversial remarks are finally catching up to him. You see, 600 Breezy recently shared some pretty interesting information in regards to a meeting that he had with Charleston White. According to 600 Breezy, the two met up and talked over some of the issues that they had with each other. 600 Breezy confronted Charleston White for some of his controversial comments on King Von. So what did Breezy say to Charleston? And what really are these comments? So this all happened a couple months back when 600 Breezy and Charleston White met up. The reason why they were at the same place was because of the premiere of a movie called Double Crosses. The movie was shown for the first time at the Alamo Theater in Jackson, Mississippi. However, that's not where Charleston and Breezy got to talking. As a matter of fact, they met up at a completely different place. They got together at a trap house, somewhere in the hood in Jackson. So how'd that happen? Well, here's how it all went down.
Good Morning America. Now, I can't go down here with the hood niggas and they say they down here killing in Jacksonville, Mississippi.
Right.
I don't know what the fuck going on. I'm talking about these old folks sitting on the porch. I'm saying, man, well, it might be like that movie In the Hills Got Eyes. The old folks might be down with the killing too. This little old bald head nigga walk up to the door and say, what's up, Charles? And say, man, my people want to meet you. So when I step out the car, man, it's an old nigga. Look like they done time in prison back in the 70s, when prison was real tough and they had building tenders. I see some few niggas look like they was gangsters in the 80s. Then I saw some niggas look like they might have been with their gang banging shit in the 90s. I'm saying, man, I don't know what kind of situation I might be in.
A little after Charleston arrived in Jackson, he was picked up by a driver who was supposed to help him out while he was in town. The only request that Charleston had once he made it was to get some weed going. So the driver decided to take him to a place where they could chill. Little did Charleston White know that the driver was going to take him to the hood of Jackson, where there was a bunch of other people already waiting for him. Some of them were actually pretty excited to meet up with Charleston and even take some photos with him. Among the bunch of people who said hey to Charleston was a tall, buff dude who looked like a football player to C-Dubs. Charleston was told that he was an actor in the Double Crosses movie. He had no idea the guy whom he shook hands was 600 Breezy, a rapper who was very close with King Von and knew almost everyone who was present at the house they were in. Charleston White and 600 Breezy haven't met each other before. This was the first time that the two linked up. And if you know anything about C-Dubs and 600, then you know that some stuff is about to go down. These two were both ready to stand up for what they believe in. Believe it or not, 600 didn't do his homework on Charleston. He was released out of prison in March and they met up only 1 month later. However, while he was outside the house sitting on the porch, one of his dudes told him about Charleston White was. 600 Breezy looked a couple videos where C-Dubs were talking about King Von and other guys from Chicago too. More specifically, Breezy looked up the interview with Say Cheese in which Charleston White claimed that King Von was a demon and that God is protecting Lil Tim for taking out a demon like King Von.
King Von is one of the only few demons we done seen die. He was a powerful demon. He had many followers like Lucifer. So to watch King Von die before the world was an act of God. And when I look at little Timmy, I see him at peace. I see a peaceful man. I don't see no man stressing and worrying.
Now, Breezy only spent like 20 minutes watching Charleston White videos, and perhaps it's better that way. If he had watched more, their conversation wouldn't have been so slick. But in any case, he knew what was up with Charleston, and he thought of the Chicago drill scene. 600 Breezy then decided to confront Charleston over the comments he had in his hometown, as well as the ones he had about King Von. He asked Charleston White this.
I'm like, you know, what you got against Chicago niggas? I'm from Chicago, and I'm BD, and Von my homie, so what's up with that shit? Now, I'm not knowing he done said all of this crazy shit, though. Like, he done said some crazy. He's very disrespectful.
You can't just go online and say stuff like that without any kind of consequences, really. But Charleston didn't hesitate at all to let Breezy know his thoughts on him as a gang member and of his dead homie, Von.
I ain't got no problem with no nigga from Chicago, but the people in Chicago fucking with me online, trying to represent Chicago to me online.
Right.
The people I got a problem with, nigga. I ain't got no problem. I ain't never even met no nigga from Chicago.
So according to Charleston, he only has a problem with those who go online, claiming that they're Chicago, even though they ain't. A bunch of people call him out all the time for no good reason, really. He didn't even realize that the guy who was talking to is actually from Chicago. That's why 600 told Charleston this.
So he tell me, I'm a nigga from Chicago. I said, oh, this young nigga trying to press me.
But that wasn't the end of it. Breezy also told Charleston White to keep Von's name out of his mouth, or else. That titled Charleston White because he ain't one of those dudes who you can threaten easily.
None of these niggas, homie, I don't know if this is set up or not, homie, but I'm standing on what I stand on. So he telling me, you go keep King Von. No, I ain't, homie. Well, you make money. Nigga, I never made no money off King Von. I'm gonna keep talking about King Von.
At this point, Charleston realized it might get a little messy between him and Breezy. That's when Charleston tried to take a better look at what was going on with the people in the room. The only person who he was familiar with in the room was one of his homies from Texas. Everyone else at the place was a complete stranger. So Charleston started looking around to see if he was in any kind of danger. That's when he realized that it was all cool, and that nobody was looking for any trouble. Some of the people who are in the house actually filmed Charleston and Breezy. You can hear parts of their conversation, see that convo was in fact pretty chill.
So you ain't getting no money off the manager?
Nah.
Nigga, I just heard you say
Now you I'm a lying motherfucker. You goddamn.
They were having a serious conversation, but it never got to anything more than that. Charleston and Breezy kept the conversation humane. They both admitted that it was never close to escalating to something to like a fight. But then again, both of them prepping in their minds, and they both thought that there might be a fight. Perhaps the real reason behind why these two didn't see eye to eye was because 600 Breezy thought that Charleston White was making money off his dead homie King Von. Charleston denied that being the case. He did admit that he says a lot of crazy shit on the internet, but he never made any money off of Von since his YT channel was demonetized. What Charleston insisted during that conversation was that he was never going to keep Von or anyone else's name out his mouth, especially not if the person is hating on black people or anyone from his community. He even said that he was ready to die for his cause. Just think about it, man. He was a total stranger in a room full of people who were tight with 600 Breezy, and he confronted him. Not to mention that Breezy is like 2 times bigger than him. It took some guts to do such a thing. This is what resonated with a lot of his fans. Charleston White gained another level of respect from me. Real as it gets, man. He stood on everything he said and proved he is willing to die behind what he said. How can anyone talk about his abilities after seeing this? He's not a pussy. Charleston didn't see a reason why he would stop saying what he thinks of all the people who are dismantling the community. On the other hand, Breezy is BD, someone who comes from a block and respects the G-code. It was no wonder that the two would argue over their beliefs. They had a little back and forth after Charleston answered all the questions that Breezy had for him, but they dropped the ball quickly after that. Charleston and his Texas homie left the spot a little after, but there was clearly some tension that was going on. People on the internet noticed how Charleston and Breezy found a common language despite all their differences. These comments show that quite well. The fact that Breezy gave Charleston dialogue is a great thing. Community is the type that's gonna change the narrative for black people. Once we start having those real conversations and not no internet shit, then the narrative will change. Both 600 and White held it down like men, talked it out without escalating. Neither one is a buster for doing shit. They talked it, and that was that. That's how shit's supposed to go. We fooled thinking shit gotta end in bullets. Respect to both for handling this situation like 2 grown men. Perhaps the reason why there wasn't a fight between them because Charleston stopped pushing his story a little after he realized that he was completely alone in a room full of strangers. Nobody would come to help him had Breezy's guys started fighting with him. That's probably why he decided to joke around and turn the mood of the conversation upside down. On the other hand, Breezy was fresh out of jail. If he did something to Charleston, he'd probably be back in jail before he knew it, and that's not something that he wanted. That's why he confronted Charleston but kept it relatively cool the whole time. But what y'all think about this whole conversation? Was there a legit chance that the two could have gotten themselves in a fight? Let us know what you think about it all in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to check this next one out. As always, remember to keep it Rizzle.